This is the 2025 Infiniti QX80. Did Infiniti make the right changes? Hey everybody, it's Tom from Vehicle Visionary. I hope you're having a great day. I'm a little late getting to this. It's just been a little difficult to get my hands on a new QX80, so we're going to go ahead and take our time and dig into this particular model. It is the sensory trim level. If you want to know more, I can't guarantee that when you watch the video that it will still be for sale here at the dealership, but as of the time that I'm filming, it is available. So let's dig in and see what we have. Check out the link down in the description of the video and ask for William Keller. If you come into the dealership, tell him that Tom from Vehicle Visionary sent you his way. So as far as the overall changes go, it still looks like a QX80. However, there are a lot of changes to talk about. As we can see, our LED lighting, we're going to have a very unique look with the design of the daytime running lights and your turn signal indicators that are going to be located up here on the upper portion of the front end. Down here is where we find our headlights, and you will find the very large active air curtains. You could just about drive a truck through there. Well, maybe not quite. Just depends on how big the truck is. But I like the fact that you have the consistent look from the daytime running lights and your turn signal indicators here to the upper portion of your grille. It is a large grille. Tell me what you think about that. But I think it looks nice. The overall lines look nice as well. In fact, you want to almost come up here and play the piano keys for those of you who do that. And our very nice looking logo here. I like the overall design. No changes where that's concerned, but it's just the way that it looks, that 3D effect. It looks nice. You're gonna have all of your sensors up here as you would expect, and obviously a lot of great safety features no matter the trim level that you're looking at. And this is going to be a four-wheel drive model. Speaking of that, let's talk about our tire and wheel size. Your width is 275, a 50 series sidewall wrapped around the 22-inch wheels, and you will find a spare tire. As far as your side view mirrors go, you're gonna have everything you like here. Turn signal indicators built in. They're heated, they're power adjustable, blind spot monitoring right there, and they are also power folding. Now, this model is sitting rather high up at the moment. Good thing about that is that you still have your side steps, your assist steps here. They're not power, but your assist steps. It's funny how you get in the habit of saying things a certain way, and sometimes that slips out during the videos. And there is your remote. It's going to have all of your typical features and functionality. The main thing that I think most people are interested in is remote start. That has its obvious benefits. There's what the rear looks like. And if you want to see the power folding side view mirrors in action, I'll unlock and lock the vehicle just so you can see that happening in real time. And you'll have the roof rails up there. Get the crossbars and increase your cargo availability as far as space goes quite a bit. That's going to be helpful. You've got your assist steps here. Now, these are not power, but you know what? I don't think that's a big deal. It's nice to have that there, especially when the vehicle's a little high off the ground as it is right now. Beneficial to not have to just jump up in there. But when it comes to getting in, you can see through the window right here that there are grab handles, and thankfully at all four doors. Not all vehicles have that. Sometimes, as odd as it is, you'll find the lack of a grab handle at the driver's door. Don't know why that is. And something that also hasn't changed. I talked about how you can still tell this is a QX80. The fact that you had those nice tall windows, very easy to see out of. We'll finish things off here on the rear with the LED taillights, and you'll still have those hash marks right here with the design across that mimics or matches, maybe that's a better word to use, what we see on the front end, your Infiniti logo and the QX80 logo right here, as well as four-wheel drive. I did tell you earlier that is four-wheel drive. Now, something that's interesting here is you have what looks kind of like an exhaust outlet. That's very wide for an exhaust outlet. Obviously, it's a faux exhaust outlet. There's your exhaust coming out from underneath. What exactly is being exhausted? Let's talk about one of the biggest changes for 2025. Under the hood is the twin-turbo 3.5-liter V6. Now, this will be the only available engine option as of 2025. What are the numbers? 450 horsepower, which is a 50 horsepower increase, and 516 pounds-feet of torque. That means the torque increases by 103 pounds-feet compared to the outgoing engine option, the V8, that was previously here. It is all mated to a 9-speed automatic transmission. So what can you expect when it comes to MPGs? Well, here's what the window sticker tells us. 16 city, 19 highway, 17 combined, and 5.9 gallons of gas per every 100 miles driven. It is a large SUV. Most people buying these, in fact, I would imagine everybody is not going to be terribly concerned about MPGs, but if I don't give that information, somebody's going to ask why I didn't. And something else I like to give as far as information goes in my videos is the gas tank size. In this case, we're looking at 23.6 gallons. And towing capacity, 8,500 pounds. And you will have the hands-free lift gate. We'll just use the motion sensor right there. As you can see, I just kicked my foot under the left-hand side of the bumper. We're looking at 23 cubic feet up to as much as 101 cubic feet. Now, let's take a look at something here that I think is a very good thing. You're going to notice that I'm just going to push those buttons one time. One of the main competitors for the QX80 would be either the GMC Yukon or the Chevrolet Suburban, the Tahoes, all of that. When you do that, when you lower the seats, you have to hold the buttons down to get them back up. So that's one thing I like that you don't have to do here. That is good news. In fact, I'll show you real quick. I'm going to just push that button one time. You can see that I'm not holding the button down, and yet here comes that seat coming back up. Now, there's still a lot more to talk about back here, and if you're wondering about the spare tire, it is located underneath the rear of the vehicle. And since I have these seats down, not only so I can show you how everything looks with maximized cargo capacity, but also what's under the floor right here. We have a couple of things here, and it's nice that you can just get that up, lay it out of the way, no problem right there. You can pull on the release right there, and there you go. You have the tools for changing your spare tire if you're wondering where all of that is. And we're not finished back here just yet. Still a little bit more to talk about. Some of the simplistic things you'd expect to find, such as your tie downs, those are going to be here. You're also going to have a power outlet as well. And right here, you might have noticed you had all your controls right here for lowering and raising back up the middle and rear seats. By the way, that is something else that is going to be nice when compared to the Chevrolet SUVs, the full-size SUVs, and the GMCs. Notice what I did not have to do, in case you were curious about that. If you go with one of those models, the GM models, you push the buttons to lower those front seats, but you have to manually raise them back up. You don't have to do that here. And you can also raise or lower the suspension back here. So I'm going to do that real fast just to show you what's here. And you can tell what you're using depending on which button you push right here. You can raise and lower things depending on what your needs are. And nothing out of the ordinary here, but I'm going to show it again. One of these things, if I don't show it, somebody's going to ask about it. There are multiple ways to close the power lift gate. They call it a lift gate with Infiniti. You can also call that a tailgate, but there's a few different ways you can open and close that, whether it's with the remote, with the motion sensor down there, the hands-free feature, buttons on the interior, all of that is going to be here. And as would be expected with a full-size SUV, you have a very large rear door. I like the fact that that brings the benefit of a very large armrest. Now, you do have some gloss black right here. I could fingerprint that up if I wanted to. That's what's there. But nice materials throughout, large door bins. There's the Infiniti logo on what we often call the door sill or the kick plate. And these are power adjustable seats. Now, one thing you will notice here is that we can bring those back and forth, and I'm just using the button right here. So I'm going to show you how far that goes up to help out with our rear seats when I hop back there. Now, I'm going to go over to the passenger side because a lot of the time people say everybody who reviews these vehicles only shows what you can do on the driver's side over here or the left-hand side as far as getting these seats up and out of the way. That is the button to do that, but I'm going to show you how it works over there. And something I really like here is how easy it is to get these seats up and out of the way. Once the seat starts moving like that, you can let go of the button and look at how quickly that gets up and out of the way. I've worked with some Mercedes-Benz models and BMWs that take so long that I always know when I'm going to do that, it's time to go to lunch. No offense, Mercedes-Benz or BMW, but you can kind of figure that out as far as the ease and convenience. Now, what I'm going to do is show you how everything works back here as far as my leg space goes. Now, I don't know how well you can tell the difference. The seat over there on the left-hand side is all the way up. In fact, I'll make it very easy to see. But look at all that leg space I have. I have a lot of leg space. If that isn't enough, I have that much right here. Now, I don't know how realistic it is for one of the seats to be in this position, but that's what you have. So, a lot of space back here, and we have a few things to talk about that I think are of interest right here. We've got some USB connectivity, large cup holders, and you might wonder, what are these buttons for? So let me do something real fast here. I am going to recline the seat. Look at that. I don't know how well you can tell how far back that goes, but you can recline both sides. In fact, I'll recline this side as well, and then you can maybe see a little bit better, but those are reclined nicely, very comfortable back here. And you do have seating for 3 people back here. That's why you have 1, 2, 3 seat belts, as you can see. Obviously, you'd have to put that in place to make that work. And oh crap handles, even available for your 3rd row passengers. Kind of an interesting thing to have. And I like the fact that you have the air conditioning vents back here. I'm not sure if that's the better location or if maybe it should be up here. I don't really know. I'd have to sit here for a while to find out about that. But I know when the seat is further up, and boy, it does come way up, it actually does a pretty good job. Now, let's see here. I'm going to adjust the airflow. I hope that doesn't mess with the audio. But you know what? Actually, I take back my thoughts on that. That is actually better than having it right here because it's closer. Some SUVs have the air conditioning vents here. And the thing I like about having the roof-mounted positioning with those air conditioning vents is that the air doesn't have any time or a lot of room to travel before it gets to the passengers, and having it right here I think is nice. Although the only disadvantage I can see with that, as funny as it may seem to be so focused on that, is the fact that basically the direction of airflow is only from the side. But you know what? It's better than nothing. And something else that's interesting here is the center console that's actually off to the right-hand side. As you can see right there, there's still room to get through this pass-through right here that way. Kind of interesting that it would be done that way. And the armrests here, I always say this in these SUVs, any full-size SUV or any SUV for that matter, that has armrests on the captain's chairs in the center row, they really need to be taller. Higher, maybe not taller, but longer, because when you lay them flat, here's the problem, at least for me, is that I really don't like my wrist hanging off the front like that. But then again, someone might say, you know what, Tom, I never even thought of that as being an issue. And one more thing before we hop into the middle row seats. What happens if the battery dies? Well, right down here, there is a manual release to get the seat out of the way. I can't do that one-handed, but you can see that release down there on both seats, and then the rear seat passengers can push the seats up and out of the way and still easily exit if they don't want to go through the pass-through. And just to show you in action, there is the shade for the panoramic sunroof. It's nothing new or out of the ordinary that nobody has ever seen before, but you do have your panoramic sunroof here. That front portion will open. Pretty easy to deal with, and obviously when you want to, you can bring that shade back forward and keep from having an interior that is a little bit too warm, especially when you have these 100-degree days like we do here in Northwest Louisiana. And there is how things look with the shade drawn forward. And you will find rear seat pockets here on the back of the seats for the driver and the passenger side, or the right and left sides here in the back seat area. And something that I really like here on the command center, on the rear of the center console, is you have ventilated seats. Oh my goodness, that's awesome. That will make your middle seat passengers very happy when it's really hot outside. Now they are heated as well, I dare not leave that on. And you know what else is there, pretty easy to figure out. We'll also have our connectivity here, 12-volt power outlet, and a couple of USB options. And by the way, here are some USB options for the rear seat passengers. And in case you are curious, yes, these middle row seats recline as well. I'm just using the controls here right on the side. And for those who have been patient and didn't just ask about the price down in the comments section without actually watching the video, don't tell anybody down there. It's $102,640. Let's see what else you get for the price. Now I'm going to start off here on the passenger side door panel over there because there's something you don't always see. At this price point, I think you better see it. And that is going to be seat memory. 2 different settings to be exact. As we pan over here to the driver's door, well, it goes without saying that you're obviously going to see your seat memory right here as well. You just push set and then select whichever setting you want, 1 or 2. Everything here for your power adjustable side view mirrors. If you want to fold the mirrors in, that middle button right there is how I did that. This button. And then you have all of the other controls you're used to seeing right there. Everything pretty easy to figure out as far as what's here. You do have a power adjustable steering wheel, tilt and telescopically adjustable. And there is the look of the steering wheel. Pretty nice looking. I'd say it has a nice, elegant look. Some of the trim work here mimics some of what we see on the exterior of the QX80. And a very nice digital instrument cluster. All the information you need to know is going to be there. You can obviously go through a lot of different information. And you have your shifter paddles here. If you're feeling sporty, even in a large SUV, I guess you can just pretend that it's something smaller maybe, and work your way back and forth through that 9-speed automatic transmission. And over here, believe it or not, a standard feature on every QX80 for 2025 and even before is this lever right here. It's a multitasker. Not only can you control the functionality of your lighting on the exterior of the vehicle, you can also use those turn signal indicators that I showed you earlier to let people around you know what you're doing and what your intentions are, for those of you who don't like to be mysterious on the road. Yes, you can laugh. It's okay. If you're not laughing, then that means you're probably guilty of not using your blinkers. Over here, well, I can't really say the same stuff necessarily about the lever for controlling the front and rear window wipers, but there it is. I think you know what's there. And a very nice looking infotainment screen, your center screen. You can see that you have Google Assistant right there. If you're not familiar with how that works, you just say, hey, I fooled some of you, didn't I? You thought I was about to set off devices in your home. I'm not going to do that, I promise. But you can see what all is here. You have your mode right there. We could change that if we wanted to. Your dash cam, you have that as well. Apple CarPlay is going to be there. You got your Play Store. You can see what all is here. A very nice screen, very responsive. I like that. That's a good thing. Don't have any lagging issues. And you can see that you have Amazon Alexa as well, your interior lights, user profile, all of that is going to be here. There is your dash cam, in fact. That is a nice thing to have. Not only do you have your typical cameras on and around the vehicle, but you also have that dash cam built in. Instead of having it here in the windshield, in my daily driver, my GMC 2500, well, that's where mine is. GMC doesn't offer anything like that at this point, but you know what, not a big deal. But it's nice to know that it's here. You can take a photo if you want to. You can record an event. You got your file menu right there. Nice setup. A lot going on here with this vehicle. I'm going to go to our settings right here. There's your gear icon. And since there's a gear icon right there, and if you think it's too small, well, there's a bigger gear icon for you. And you can see what all is here. Connections for pairing your phone, or managing your connections, I should say. We can go to general right here. We're going to have quite a few things. One thing I like here is that it's a very simple system to use. Not hard at all. So if you're wondering about, is it complicated or not? Well, it really isn't. So we can go to vehicle right here. We can go to camera, dash cam, climate, seats, all of that's going to be there. Even your interior lighting. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it. I'm hoping to be able to go and find an atmosphere, a darker atmosphere to park in, so I can show you the ambient lighting just to see what you think about that. You've got your Pro Pilot Assist right there. You've got spring. You have all your different colors and different things that can go on here. You can work with front or rear, whatever it is. And when you're ready to go back, here you go. You can go back. And that's not the only screen we have. Now, I will show you right here is your button for starting and stopping the engine. There's volume and turning the radio on and off, and you can surf back and forth through your stations. You have a lower screen here as well. That's going to manage everything for your seats and your climate. When I say seats, we're going to have our ventilated seats here. Kind of interesting that you have how this works. You just push on the screen right there and you can tell that things are working. Make sure you push hard enough for that to work. Now, we have the ventilated seats here for the driver and the passenger. Also, the heated seats, not necessary today. And you can control everything there with the screen for your air conditioning. And here is the shifter, something I'm curious to receive your feedback on. Here's your shifter. Would you rather have a more conventional style shifter, or do you think, hey, that's actually pretty neat, I like that? And right here, I'm going to go back up to our upper screen right here as I push that button. There are our camera views, and you can see that they're nice and bright. I hope that my camera is doing a good job of picking that up. I'm not sure if it is or not. Hopefully it will. But you can see that you have a multitude of views on and around the vehicle. And obviously, it's pretty easy to see literally every angle you need to. So depending on what's going on around you, if somebody parked too closely to you, if you park too closely to somebody, you can make sure you don't hit that person. And then we can just push the camera button again and get rid of that. And obviously, that's going to come on when you go into reverse. So just so you can see that. Now, one thing that's very interesting that I noticed here, you can conceal everything away here. There are your cup holders, but when I go to change into reverse or neutral or drive, I find myself doing that. That's probably just something you're going to have to get used to not doing if you have this closed. So, kind of interesting. Wireless charging right here, a couple of USB options, everything pretty simple there. And the dampened lid for the console, I just push the button right there, that opens up all the way by itself, no big deal. And within that area is quite a bit of space. Nice to see what's there. And that flickering effect you see on the mirror is not actually happening. That has to do with my camera, not the vehicle itself. If you want the conventional style rear view mirror, well, you can have that, but sometimes it may be a little difficult to see out of your rear window. So you flip the lever right there and you have the camera view. That's nice to have. We'll also have the controls here for managing the power shade right there that I showed you for your panoramic sunroof, and then that front portion that will open depending on what you want to do. And a quick look across the dash area just to show you what everything else looks like. See if I can reach all the way over there and open the gloveless glove box. We never have gloves in there. And I did want to show you one more thing. You can go home right here with this button. There is your built-in navigation, but if you want to pair your smartphone, I'm going to show you how to do that real fast. It's going to tell me that there is no phone paired right now, so we are going to pair our phone. So we're going to do that, and this is so easy to do. Here's what we need to do to pair our smartphone. So I'm going to go to Bluetooth, and it gives you the instructions on the screen. Very easy to deal with. You can use a wired connection if you want to, but you don't have to do that. So we're going to scroll all the way down here to the bottom. You can see my QX80 right there. So we're going to do that. We're going to select pair right there. Makes that nice and easy. We're going to select allow. And we'll just follow the prompts as they come up. I do want to use CarPlay. And let me do this. I have to put the phone down for just a second. And we'll just let everything run its course. And there we go. We're now officially paired. There's one more advantage to that. And for those who would like to hear the audio, here is a demonstration for you. Hopefully my camera picks it up, or my mic picks it up where it sounds nice. Okay, hopefully we didn't go too long on that, but I wanted to try and give you an opportunity to hear that. Now, there are speakers all over the place, in conventional places and maybe not so conventional, built into the headrest right there, only for the front seat, for the driver and the passenger. Nobody else gets that privilege, in case you were curious. And a quick look here at the ambient lighting. Unfortunately, I don't know that you can see it as well as I had hoped for. The camera does seem to be picking some of it up here in the front seat area, and you can see on the screen where you should be able to see it. Unfortunately, the shop where I was coming today, the lights are on inside and they're working on some things, so I can't really turn things off the way I had hoped to. But let me change a couple of things here. I'm going to go to a couple of different colors. The blues always tend to show up the best. I don't know why that is. But one good thing about that, even though we can't, at least from what I can see right here through the lens of the camera, see everything as well as I wanted to, you can see how nice and bright everything is on our screens. A very nice look. Looks very nice, very modern. What do you think about the way the technology is set up here as far as having our screens here and our lower screen? And let's talk about what it's like to drive this fully redesigned QX80. It's comfortable. Something that's interesting, and I don't know that I'm going to describe this in the best manner, but I'm going to do the best I can. It feels like you're driving a large SUV, but at the same time, the steering doesn't have a lot of slop in it. It's not sports car-like, it's not sports car tight, but it's not what you might expect. In fact, I'd say it's an improvement over the previous generation of the QX80 that was with us for quite a few years. I hope that does it justice, but that's why I like to say, I do the test drive because I know a lot of you like to see that. You really need to get out and drive these vehicles for yourself. Then you can form your own opinion based on your experiences, your expectations, your driving ability. Whatever the case is, you have to keep in mind, I'm used to driving high-performance vehicles, driving race cars, all of that. I've done a lot of drag racing in the past. I'm working on building another race car right now. So I'm going to get different feedback than some people will, and feel different about the vehicle than some people will. So that's why I like to say, drive it for yourself. One thing I did forget to mention earlier in the video is the fact that you have a head-up display. You have your traffic sign recognition, all of that is there. It is nice and bright. I like that. Even on a bright sunny day like this, absolutely no trouble seeing it whatsoever. So that's a good thing. Now, here from the driver's seat, I'm nice and comfortable. I couldn't tell you for sure what the experience is going to be for your second and third row passengers, just the way it goes. But as the driver, I'm comfortable. I have plenty of space. I don't think I need to say this, but I'm going to say it anyway. It's another one of those things that people are going to ask about. What about somebody who's over 6 feet tall? You will have absolutely no trouble fitting here whatsoever. You will be able to adjust everything appropriately for being well in excess of 6 feet tall. So that's not going to be a problem at all. And you are going to have an easy time seeing. No issues there. As I mentioned earlier, you've got your rear view mirror right here that will do a great job for you if you want to use it as a conventional rear view mirror or as the with the camera feature turned on. And I like the fact that everything's pretty easy to get to. The screen is a little far away from me, but not terribly at 5'10". My arms are not what I would consider to be super long, but I can get to that if I need to. But keep in mind, you don't really need to because you do have Google Assistant. That's going to help you out in a lot of ways. And something else to consider here is the fact that while you have a different engine combination than what we've had in the past, it definitely has no trouble whatsoever getting down the road and getting up to speed. I'm going to make a quick legal U-turn right here. No problems. And I'm just easing into the pedal and having no problems. I'm at the speed limit already of 55 miles per hour. Okay, tell me what you think about the 2025 Infiniti QX80. Did Infiniti make the right changes? I'm curious to receive your feedback. And as Infiniti receives additional trim levels, I promise to show those to you as they become available. I do want to say a special thanks to my friends here at the dealership for loaning me this QX80 for the day, and a special thanks to each and every one of you for being kind enough to take the time to watch and give me the opportunity to give you a vision for your next vehicle. If you enjoyed this video, you know the drill. Please hit that like button. That helps me out a lot. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't done so already. That way you don't miss future videos. And if you would like to learn about additional vehicles you may wish to consider purchasing, check out the video that's on the screen right now, and I'll see you there.